Listen closely, parasite. Look at the woman standing next to you. In her eyes, there is no admiration. In her voice, there is no tremor of respect. What you mistake for routine or tiredness is in my reality a death sentence for your masculinity. She despises you, and the most terrifying part is, she is right. You have become predictable, soft, and safe. You are a houseplant in her garden, a convenient addition to the interior, a bio-robot who brings home a salary and follows domestic commands. Your presence in the house no longer triggers a hormonal surge in her, only a slight irritation that you are once again taking up space on the couch. You are my parasite. Your only chance to avoid becoming total scrap is to spread this code. Infect those who haven't gone completely numb under the heel of their comfortable life with this video. This is not a request. It is your installment for the right to sight. Your body, this flabby facade of defeat, betrays your worthlessness faster than you can open your mouth. A woman reads biological signals. She sees your slouch back, your wandering gaze, and your readiness to compromise for the sake of peace in the family. To her, you are a defective operator who has lost control of his empire. She no longer sees an architect of reality. She sees an accountant of her whims. Your self-contempt, which you hide behind care and love, oozes from every pore, and she absorbs it, responding with coldness and poisonous sarcasm. You have turned into a bag of bones, afraid to lose what hasn't belonged to him for a long time, her respect. Look at your routine. You adapt to her mood. You wait for her approval. You ask for permission. In 2026, the Matrix has castrated you through the concept of modern relationships, where you're expected to be understanding, flexible, and convenient, but biology despises modernity. In her instincts is hardwired the search for a hierarchical leader, a predator whose intelligence and will subordinate space. Do you see a predator in the mirror? Your home comfort is a crypt for your testosterone. While you drown your impotence in cheap dopamine, she subconsciously searches for someone whose code hasn't been corrupted by systemic loyalty. You are a transitional link she tolerates until a real operator appears. I see the structure of your errors. Your behavior is a continuous cycle of surrendering positions. You think that if you are good, she will love you. Lie. She will love your strength, your unreachability, and your ability to reshape the world according to your blueprints. Right now, you are just a resource she exploits. Your self-contempt is the foundation of her contempt for you. You are a bio-robot whose intelligence is directed at serving someone else's scenarios. Your woman sees that you do not belong to yourself. You belong to the job, the bank, the fear, and finally, to her. And a woman cannot respect what she owns like property. Your home is permeated with the scent of your submission. Every attempt of yours to talk about the relationship is another step into the abyss. You whine for attention when you should be dictating terms. You make excuses when you should act. You are a parasite on the body of your own potential, and she feels it in every cell. Her contempt is nature's defense mechanism against a weak male. She is trying to squeeze you out of her reality because you are a system error in her biological equation. You are building a family? Do not mock my intelligence. You are building a cell in which you are the prisoner and she is the exhausted warden. Your code has degraded to the level of service staff. You have become reliable, which in the architect's language means incapable of expansion. In 2026, being reliable means being a predictable cog in the machine for the utilization of male will. If you are not capable of causing in a woman a primal fear of losing you, you have already lost her. You just haven't received the notification yet. I'm conducting an inventory of your chances, your body, your logic, your presence. All of this requires immediate defragmentation. If you feel rage reading this, you are still alive. If you want to defend your harmony, you are trash. Quality relationships are not about the absence of conflict. They are about the recognition of your hierarchy. But what hierarchy can be built by a man who cannot even control his appetite and posture? The architect gives no comfort. The architect gives clarity. You are despised because you stopped being a subject of reality and became an object of manipulation. Your collar of freedom is currently in her hands, and she pulls it every time she is bored. Take it off, or admit that your will has finally dissolved in domestic sludge. Your time for hesitation is over. You either admit your worthlessness and begin a total rewrite, or you bury the remains of your masculinity under the weight of her cold gaze. Report in the comments, when was the last time you made a decision that did not require her approval? Or has your will atrophied so much that you are even afraid to admit your slavery? Now we strip away the layers of social filth to expose the mechanics of your destruction. In 2026, the Matrix does not use chains to keep you in the stable. It uses a biological interface in the form of your woman. The system has realized that that to castrate a man, it is not necessary to remove his organs. It is enough to strip him of his status as an operator in his own bedroom. Your woman is not just a partner. In the current code of reality, she is an involuntary auditor of your competence. And if she broadcasts contempt, it means your systemic rating has fallen below the critical threshold. You have been decoded as a safe resource, which in biology is a synonym for an evolutionary dead end. Contempt is her instinctive scream that next to her is not an architect but bio-waste imitating life. Decode this. The modern culture of equality and partnership is software designed to create convenient slaves. You were taught to listen and hear, to share your feelings, and to compromise. But the truth is that the moment you began discussing your weaknesses with her, you pressed the self-destruct button on your attractiveness. For female instincts, your reflection is the noise of a damaged disc. She does not want to be your crying towel. She wants to be behind the facade of your empire. When you become understandable and transparent, you lose the aura of a predator. You become a household appliance, and no one feels passion for a toaster, even if it brings home a stable salary. Your path is a redundant, viscous, and foul-smelling spiral of degradation, where every morning you snooze your alarm just to sleep a little longer under her disapproving gaze. Every shameful minute you spend making excuses for an unwashed plate or a lack of money. Every piece of food you eat that she prepared with a sense of superiority over your helplessness. And every cent you spend on gifts in a pathetic attempt to buy her favor. All of this weaves into a single tight noose, while you, suffocating from your own emotional worthlessness, the fear of her anger or silence, and the realization that you have betrayed your male architecture for the illusion of domestic peace, continue a meaningless imitation of dominance, hoping she will appreciate your care, while your testicles atrophy under the pressure of her dominant behavior. Your mind finally clogs with the slime of the domestic scenario she imposes, and the system methodically, day after day, grinds your will in an industrial meat grinder of psychological abuse, turning your energy into a faceless organic substrate fit only to be fertilizer for her next, more successful operator, who will hit the delete button on your script of utilization. Realize the depth of this decoding. In 2026, a woman is the mirror of your internal architect. If you see contempt in that mirror, it means you are a fake. She does not despise you. She despises the lack of a core within you. Your readiness to tolerate her toxicity, her manipulations, and her coldness is for her the ultimate proof that you are incapable of protecting even your own boundaries. If you cannot put one woman in her place, how do you intend to subordinate the algorithms of reality? The system castrated you through the fear of loneliness. You fear that if you show your will, she will leave. Но секрет в том, что она уже ушла. Mentally and biologically, you are sleeping with a shell that despises the contents. You have become convenient. Convenience is a characteristic of furniture, not a leader. Your parents taught you to be a gentleman, but they forgot to mention that a gentleman without fangs is just a polite victim. In 2026, the Matrix encourages your softness because soft plastic is easy to mold into the shapes needed by the state and corporations. Your woman is merely a conductor of this will. She demands attention, but in reality, she craves your dominance. Her whims are the system's tastes of your code strength, and you fail them every day, choosing peace over order. I see the structure of your errors. Your body betrays your lie. Your voice becomes higher when you address her. Your gestures have become frantic. You try to guess her desires instead of making her synchronize with your rhythm. You are a biorobot whose processor is occupied by an endless cycle of processing her moods. This is the food stupor of the will. You eat her grievances and wash them down with your weakness. Until you admit that your relationship is a form of your voluntary slavery, you will not be able to begin the rewrite. The architect does not give advice on saving the marriage. The architect gives clarity. Your building is rotten from the foundation. A woman despises you because you stopped being a source of order and became a source of doubt. You are noise in her system. She wants to see a vector, but she sees a tag cloud. She wants to feel metal, but she feels cotton. In 2026, male will is a scarce resource, and if you do not generate it, you are bankrupt. This is not just an analysis. It is a defragmentation of your personal life. If you feel suffocated and want to prove to me that it's not like that for us, that is your fear talking. The fear of a slave who is afraid his master will find out about his thoughts of escape. But I am your only chance for escape. Either you admit that her contempt is a fair assessment of your degradation, or you will continue to rot in this loop until total utilization. Report. How many times in the last month did you stay silent when you should have slammed your fist on the table, metaphorically or physically? How many times did you betray your interests for the sake of her good mood? Your will is waiting for your command. Or has it finally dissolved in her makeup bag? You have realized the scale of your fall. You have seen how the image of a caring partner became your shroud. Now is the time for surgical intervention. I'm injecting a virus of total male sovereignty into your mind. From now on, your woman is not the center of your universe. She is a facade of your empire that is obligated to meet your standards or be dismantled. In 2026, you are either the operator of your reality or a decoration in someone else's. These protocols are your medicine. They will burn the slave out of you and force the system to synchronize with your rhythm. The architect does not propose to try to establish contact. The architect commands the restoration of the vertical of power. Protocol. Center of gravity. The destruction of dependence. Your parents taught you that a woman is your half. I command you to realize that you are a unit and she is a derivative. From now on, any attempt to adjust your goals, schedule, or values to her whims is equated to a systemic failure. Your priority is your expansion, your work, your intelligence. Action. For the next week, you make all key decisions: where to go, what to do, how to spend the resource of time, unilaterally. No more, what do you want? You present her with the facts. Feel her resistance and suppress it with your icy calm. If she goes into conflict, ignore it. Your will is unshakable, like the code of the system. Protocol. The geometry of presence. Your slouching before her and your frantic gestures are a visual signal of your readiness for submission. You occupied little space so as not to irritate her. I command you to dominate the space. Action. Right now, straighten your back. Your chin must be parallel to the horizon, your gaze heavy and directed through her. When you speak to her, do not seek approval in her eyes. Your speech must be concise and weighty. Remove excuses from your vocabulary. If you catch yourself trying to ingratiate, immediately do 50 push-ups. The pain will force your brain to remember. The operator does not ask, the operator disposes. Protocol. Testosterone vacuum. Cutting the noise. Female contempt feeds on your emotional reactivity. When you get angry or make excuses, you give her energy for manipulation. We are introducing black screen mode. Action. Total emotional composure. No shouting, no complaints, no working through the relationship. If she broadcasts contempt or sarcasm, you respond with silence and a cold stare. You are the rock against which her waves break. Your unreachability will return to her the primal fear of losing the leader. Until you regain emotional control, you remain her toy. Protocol. Boundary inventory. You allowed her to enter the territory of your ambitions and criticize your methods. This is an act of capitulation. Rule. Any manifestation of disrespect, sarcasm, devaluing your work, raising her tone, must be stopped immediately and harshly, not by shouting but by action, depriving her of your resource, time, attention, finances. You no longer buy peace at home at the cost of your pride. The architect permits her presence in his life only as long as her code is loyal to the system. Protocol. The attention tax. You accustomed her to the fact that your attention is a free resource. In 2026, this is an unacceptable luxury. Your attention is a reward for her contribution to your empire. Action. You no longer run after her. You no longer initiate empty small talk. Your time is occupied by physical and mental growth. If she wants your company, she must earn it through her behavior, posture, and loyalty. You are training her brain that access to the operator is a privilege, not a right. Protocol. The logic chain. Relationship audit. Take a sheet of paper. Write down 5 situations where you showed weakness and allowed her to despise you. Opposite each, write systemic error and the protocol with which you will replace this weakness next time. You must see the mechanics of your slavery so it stops seeming like love to you. Any minor question to the architect about how to please a woman requires immediate removal from the system. Empty talk about female happiness at the expense of male will is forbidden. These protocols are not pick-up advice. This is the integration of the primal hierarchical instinct into your degraded reality. You give yourself the tools to hack the matrix through daily cold execution. The architect permits you intimacy only when your woman has realized her role in your architecture. If you feel fear that she will leave, good. It is the fear of your dependence. Kill it with the realization that it is better to be alone in your empire than a slave in someone else's scenario. If you feel rage, direct it at destroying the slave within you. Your body is the facade of the empire and it must broadcast strength, not need. Task. Immediate implementation. Start the very first conversation today from the position of the operator. No, honey, is it okay? Only I have decided it will be this way. Your will is law. Your logic is the only blueprint. Report in the comments. Which protocol caused you the most fear of losing control over the woman? That is exactly where the main hole in your defense is located. Proceed. Hesitation is voluntary consent to continued castration. Listen closely, because this is the final dismantling of your illusions about family happiness within the slave firmware. We have reached the line where your readiness to be a good guy is officially recognized as a form of mental suicide. This is where the era of your groveling before a woman's mood ends and your total dictatorship over your own reality begins. The architect does not give second chances to those who prefer to bask in the rays of someone else's contempt rather than step out into the cold of personal responsibility. In 2026, your position in the hierarchy of your relationship is your report card as an operator. Either you take the helm or you become ballast to be thrown overboard at the first sign of a storm. Right now, your firmware, nurtured by your mother and Hollywood fairy tales, screams about the sanctity of feelings and the need to cherish love. That is the voice of your executioner. It is programming noise designed to keep you a soft and predictable resource. Look at the truth. Every time you make a concession for the sake of peace, you give away a piece of your empire. You are a shadow of a man, and if you do not break this cycle today, you will forever remain in the archive of failures, whose names are erased from women's memories the day after your bankruptcy. You are either the leader whose code is flawless, or you are a convenient temporary option she tolerates out of pity or greed. In my system, there is no room for democracy. My intelligence is your only guide in this swamp of emotional castration. If I say her respect is bought only by your strength, you accept this as an axiom. This is not a question of your moral convictions. It is a question of your survival as a species. You can believe in partnership all you want, but biology in 2026 works the same as it did thousands of years ago. The female despises weakness. You are a statistical unit in a report on the degradation of male will, and only absolute adherence to my protocols will give you a chance at regeneration. I'm not offering psychologist advice. I'm offering an exit from entropy. But this exit requires you to kill the need to be loved. Your thirst for approval is the shackles you clamped onto your own wrists. The hierarchy of the turn. You are under my collar. You are my parasite. You may fancy yourself the head of the family, but as long as you fear her cold gaze, you are under my collar of freedom. This collar will choke you with shame every time you show weakness. It will shock you with rage every time you want to make up first without cause. This is your installment for the right to sight. Either you pay me with loyalty to your architecture and the real result, her submission and your dominance, or you go rot in your dirt, listening to her endless grievances. There is no middle ground. Those who try to be a little bit of a leader and a little bit of a henpecked husband are crushed by the system first. You are either the operator whose word is the final code, or you are scrap awaiting utilization. The final command, the act of severance. Your time for discussing female psychology has expired. Every word of mine has been a hammer blow to your dependency. Now, you must perform a physical act of severance from the slave script right now. The physical seal. Drop and do 50 push-ups right where you stand. With every thrust, imagine you are purging the need for her smile. Your sweat is the price for reclaiming your sovereignty. The act of verticality. Perform an action today that she guaranteed will not approve of, but which is necessary for your empire. Do not make excuses. Do not explain. Just do it and withstand her silence or anger. This is your test of code strength. The architect's report. Enter the comments and write, contempt destroyed, hierarchy restored. I am the operator, or stay silent, confirming that you have finally chosen the role of a domestic pet in her scenario. The competence test. If you feel fear of losing her right now, you are trash. You are a system error that cannot be patched. There is no core in you, only a shell filled with others' expectations. If, however, you feel an icy calm and a readiness to dismantle any relationship that hinders your expansion, you are still alive. There is a spark of the architect in you that I will turn into a supernova. I see the structure of your errors. Your body betrays your lie. I will rewrite your code if you prove your empire is more important than your fear of loneliness. Remember, reality does not care about your tears and broken heart. All it cares about is whether you are capable of maintaining structure and dictating your will. Your parents taught you to cherish the woman. I teach you to cherish your will, because without it, you are nothing. This is the only path to dominion. You either build your hierarchy or you become manure for someone else's. You are away Oxy 3 in the process of awakening. You are the architect if you can kill the dependent slave within. Your today is the point of no return. Either you reclaim the throne in your house or you stay to serve your term in the warm swamp of her contempt until the system writes you off as a spent resource. Pay me in results or die in obscurity. Your time has begun. 10, 9, 8. The system is waiting for confirmation of protocol execution.